This is 4 to 6 interviews back to back. And not even one of those that are like, tell me about a time that you did good and you're proud of it. No. This is like, here's a very hard problem that you probably never seen and you have 45 minutes to solve it. Good luck. And you have 6 of those. Imagine if you have to do this like a couple times in a week. That's so exhausting. But okay. What am I talking about? Well, if you're a software engineer, you probably encountered this before or will encounter this more often than not. This is the software engineering full loop interview. But what is a full loop? Okay. Not that full loop. So the full loop interview is the ultimate test of your skills and endurance as a software engineer. It's a gauntlet of 4 to 6 interviews back to back that pushes you to the point that you feel that, why am I doing this? I don't even did I study? I want to go home. It's been like 6 hours and I'm already in here. And it tests you in every possible way. But let me break it down to you. Introducing the full loop interview. So what exactly is a full loop? In top tech companies like Google, Meta, Apple, Netflix, etc., you have what they call the full loop. The full loop is a multi-stage interview process where you meet with several different interviewers, each of them focusing on a specific role or skill depending on what position you're applying to. This process ensures that they get a 360 view or overview of your abilities and your skills as a developer. Sounds intense? Well, it is, but understanding what you're up against is just half of the battle. Overview of the full loop stages. First up, let's talk about the different stages that you'll have to go through. Imagine it like a video game where you need to pass each level to go to the next one, and they don't necessarily get harder. Sometimes it might be easier, sometimes it might be harder, but you just have different levels that you need to pass, and if you miss any of them, you fail. But okay, what are these steps? One is the coding interview. This is where they hit you with lead code style problems, data structures and algorithms, the whole 9 yards. You'll need to solve these under pressure, typically on a whiteboard or on a shared document. So this is very, very important and why you don't want to get used to just using lead code for practicing. I've been to so many different interviews and I have interviewed people myself where you don't give them or you don't get a lead code style like an editor. You're just given like a white document, and a lot of times it might be just like a Google Doc and you're asked to write code there. If they even give you a Google Doc, sometimes they might just give you, like a whiteboard and you have to write by hand all of this. So it's very, very important that you're not only relying on the autocomplete and whatever lead code gives you, and that you're actually practicing and putting everything that you need to do by yourself so that you understand what needs to go. This is step 1. Step 2, or the second stage, would be the system design interview. Next, they'll ask you about a system design question. And not just any system. Think about something that needs to handle millions of users every second. So it's not just like your regular tic-tac-toe app or a note-taking app that you built on your own, but this is scalable software. These are things that they're hoping to see that you can think about. How do we handle a ton of traffic, a ton of events every second, a ton of users? How do we make sure that our app, if it grows or when it grows, that it doesn't break because it can't handle more people than we had, the 100 people that we used to have. For this, you need to think big, be sure about what you're talking about, and just explain the design decisions as you go. Number 3, we have behavioral interviews. After the first few interviews, which could have been just 1 interview, 2 interviews, or up to 4, you might have 2 coding, like lead code style questions, or 3 lead code style questions and 1 system design. You might have 2 and 2, you might have 2 and 1, but a lot of times it's more than just 1 person and just more than just 1 interview. But after those 2, after your coding and your system, you get the behavioral interview. In here, they want to know how you work with others. And let's say in Google, they call it like your Googliness. How likely are you to get along with your coworkers and handle other things that are not just technical aspects or like a data structures and algorithms problem? Expect questions like, tell me about a time that you had to overcome a big challenge on a team project. And for these, we want to make sure that we're looking at the STAR method, which is situation, task, action, result. This comes really in handy because you want to make sure that you're showcasing different things. I have seen people who have gotten rejected just for this part. Maybe they didn't show enough initiative or enough leadership in the stories that they gave. Maybe they talked about a project that they weren't the biggest contributor or didn't even know how the project worked. They just kind of like got stories. So make sure that these stories are good, as this is a very, I don't even know how to study for this part. This is like, you just have to prepare a bunch of stories, have them ready, make sure that they cover things like leadership, collaboration, and your own thinking and problem solving. But this one's probably the hardest because it's very, very subjective to whoever is interviewing you, and if they just don't like you, it's tough. Then we have domain-specific interviews. Depending on the job and what you're actually applying to, you might have to face deep dive questions on the specific technology or area that they're working on. So, for example, if you're a security engineer, be ready to talk about anything like encryption protocols and things like that. And if you're into machine learning, then be ready to discuss things like model training techniques, how the industry is going right now, and what you think about LLMs. And of course, you have to put that you know how to use ChatGPT. And then we got the final round, or the hiring committee review. If you made it this far, congratulations. This is the last step. Depending on the interview, you might do different interviews and then get to this one at the end, or they might do this on a separate day, on an email or on a call. It really depends. There's no like a specific set given what you're doing, right? So for this, all of the previous interviewers are going to submit some feedback and review and information about their experience with you and the interview, and then this committee will review all of those and try to put them together and decide if you are a good candidate to move forward with. If you are actually the right fit for this company, that's when negotiations can start or might start after they have extended an offer to you. Tips for navigating the full loop. Now let's talk about some survival strategies. The full loop, it's not the right time to just wing it. You have to practice consistently on all platforms like LeetCode or HackerRank for coding, as well as study system design principles thoroughly. And you can check this book. I don't know if this is backwards, but this is System Design Interview by Alex Zhu. This is the guy that created Bye Go. You probably have seen them on Instagram or whatnot, but very, very good book that covers a lot of different things that you can do, and patterns, applications, scalability, and so on. Very important to actually get prepared for system design interview. Throughout the whole process, your ability to clearly communicate your thoughts is just as important as your technical skills. Practice explaining your thought process out loud. I don't know how many people I've met who are smart, very, very smart people, but just because they don't know how to articulate their thought process, how to actually share those ideas in a way that other people can understand them and receive them properly, they don't come off as smart as they actually are. And I have seen other people who are not smart at all, but all of their ideas are so easy to follow that everyone just follows that person because they have such a good way of explaining what they're thinking and how they want to do things that it just makes it easier for someone else to just follow that. Number 3, stay calm and pace yourself. Remember that this is a marathon, not a sprint, right? You're gonna have 6 different interviews, sometimes less, sometimes more, but you will have a ton of interviews back to back. So you want to stay calm, you want to pace yourself, and don't let just one tough interview throw off your game for the rest of the interviews, right? Like, that's not game over. Yes, I know that at the beginning I said that if you failed one of them, you're completely out. Maybe it really depends on the input of everyone. And also keep in mind that just because you weren't able to give maybe the solution that you wanted, doesn't mean that that's over. What do I mean by that? Well, remember that these people are trying to hire someone that they want to work with. They're not trying to hire an AI who can just write code. So by understanding and keeping calm and knowing that, hey, maybe this interview wasn't as I would expect, or the solution wasn't what I wanted, you still have a lot of chance on the other interviews, as well as even on that same one, because if you didn't get it right, maybe your thought process, the way that you explain things, the way that you were gonna do things, and you just maybe ran out of time, but all of those things still apply, and you might still get a little bit of points. You might not get full points for that one interview, but you might still get some points. So don't let just one interview throw it off for the rest of them. Like, you still have a chance, and make sure that you push through all the way, because it's the only thing that we can do. The full loop interview process is designed to test every facet of your engineering skills. It's tough, no doubt about it, but with the right preparation and mindset, you can not only survive it, but actually crush it. So next time that you're about to enter a full loop, please keep in mind that It's not about what you know, but how you apply that under pressure. Good luck, keep learning, and stay curious. I'll see you on the next one.